This is Community Forum, a community service of CAN TV. I'm your host, Juan Carlos Hernandez. Green Star Movement is an organization that aims to change our urban landscape with bright and beautiful mosaic murals all around the city. They truly are a sight to behold. Today, our guests are here to talk about this work. Let's start off by talking to you, Anna SOLTYS, and how you became part of this organization and why you stay with it.
Sure. Thanks for having us, first of all. We're very excited to be here. So my name is Anna SOLTYS, and I've been with Green Star for a little over 7 years. And I became involved when I met the executive director, Camelia Hristova, socially.
Socially.
And, you know, she had a really beautiful idea about, you know, changing the urban landscape of Chicago through public art. And as an art student, I had just graduated college. It was very interesting to me. So, you know, I started volunteering, just started helping out, you know, one mural at a time. And it was a very slow start, you know, we'd do 1 or 2 murals a year. And we are now currently working on 10 to 12 murals a year. So it's definitely grown quite a bit since we started.
Okay, we'll definitely get into the vision that motivated the creation of the organization.
Sure. So Camelia Hristova and Nina Haroon actually were working with another after-school organization.
Okay.
And the organization needed their participants to pay to be part of it. And it was very difficult for them to deny students because they couldn't afford to be part of the program. And so it really kind of raised a red flag about what was needed in our community. With art funding being cut in so many different places, and the
especially 7 years ago.
Especially 7 years ago. This was sort of the beginning trend. So the accessibility became very limited, and so this was, again, this sign that something had to happen. They took it upon themselves to begin Green Star, and you know, nobody has to pay to be part of the program, which is beautiful. And we go in and create art programming in a lot of places that don't have that, in places where that art programming was cut.
Awesome, great. And you, Megan, how did you become part of one of the participants in this organization?
Well, there was a mural job being done by my house, and I am very, very, very into the arts, and I kind of thought, okay, well, this is less than 5 minutes away. Why not, you know, spend my summer on this? And
you just happened to be walking by or something?
Well, actually, my mom told me about it, and we just kind of went from there, you know. We hopped on the bandwagon. I started coming to them and putting up tiles on the wall and muraling and all that jazz.
What kept you, though? I mean, because a lot of times I remember being in my teens and getting involved with something and saying, it's kind of boring, and then moving on to something else. What kept you involved?
Well, it wasn't boring, you know. I mean, the people there are all very nice and very fun, and I myself am looking for a career in the arts, and this has just been an absolutely great way to start me off. You know, just meeting all these people who are in the arts and have a passion about the arts and helping put up this big, huge, beautiful piece of art for all the world to see in my neighborhood was fantastic. And so I've been coming back and kind of helping along everybody in, you know, trying to get into professional arts, and it's really fantastic. Yeah,
and your mom is encouraged you in all in this entire
I have
process?
a lot of support from many different people to pursue my career in the arts, and it's been great.
That's really exciting, because I think a lot of times parents, not because they don't want their children to do what they love, but because it can be difficult, I guess, the life in the arts, and they say, well, no, think about something else.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of bias against people who go into the arts, but I mean, everyone's always like, you know, it's really hard to get a good career in the arts, and it's also really hard to be a doctor, but if I said that,
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something I'm passionate about, and I'm not going to skew that passion because there's a bias against it. Right.
You're not, I think the aim should be to make a career, not necessarily to be famous, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And if fame comes, great. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, fame comes along the way. I'm not going to mind. But, you know, I just kind of want to keep going at this thing because it's what I love to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jose, our other guest here today, who will leave us early, and we'll have another guest. But tell us how you became part of the Green Star movement, please.
Like Megan said, you know, I was just strolling down the neighborhood with my mom and my sister, and we would go down by the lake, you know, go to the beach, and we would pass the bridges with the murals. And I turned and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty nice. you know, one day I would like to do that. So a couple weeks pass by and we're in school, and my sister comes to the lunch table and say, you know, there's a mural project going down. You want to sign up? And I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. You know, I've been wanting to do it since I saw it. I wanted the experience to get down there and like go through the struggles many people go just to put up the tiles, to get everything up there. You know, it does take some hard work, but like, I mean, we got it done. We're doing it.
So, and that's a great way to jump into the process of this. Yes, the curiosity, you know, they pique your curiosity, and you're like, wow, I really need to get into this.
Yeah.
But once you say, yes, I want to do this, you come to Green Star, how do you start? Ceramics and tiles are not something you work with every day.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience.
Well, once I came into the Green Star movement, like, I wasn't familiar with it, but like, I knew, you know, they're a good organization, so they were gonna help me out either way. So I went, you know, I learned the process. I got some good help from Anna. Yeah, it was confusing, but I got it down after a while. You know, everyone helps you out. It's a good place. It's like, it's where you want to be.
Yeah, what was confusing about it? And how did Anna straighten you out?
Well, when you get there, you gotta learn how to cut the tiles, how to, you know, the measurements, and so how you want to place the tiles. So
there has to be design,
yeah,
and patience, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of patience. A lot of patience. I mean, if you mess up, you have to start over. You got to start over.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, one thing with these students too, these artists, I should say, that we've been working with, is they've been part of the design and the installation for this project, and that's something that we're very, very adamant about. It's not that, you know, we just come in and do a design. It's like, okay, this is what has to go up.
Right.
We go into a neighborhood and we want to really help highlight all the beauty that's in the neighborhood and all the things that we should be celebrating. So no matter what neighborhood we're in, there is tons of that needs to happen. So the design process was really intense. And you know, it was 10 weeks of just drawing and redrawing and reconceptualizing and all that. And you know, this particular program, we have a really great relationship with After School Matters. And so this particular program, we've been working with After School Matters. So, you know, the teens get a stipend to do this, you know, which is really wonderful.
That is wonderful.
It is fantastic. And they're so great in kind of helping us provide resources. So, you know, we worked closely with the alderman. The alderman would come in and kind of give us ideas about things that they wanted, things that they liked, they didn't like. So anyways, I didn't want to like skip over that really intense process of design.
So Megan, tell us about that intense process. It's not just this moment of inspiration. Well, that's certainly the spark. But once that spark ignites fire, you have to stoke it, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like you wake up one day and go, Eureka! And then suddenly you have the best idea for a meal ever. It's like, you know, we assembled a bunch of people and put our heads together and collaborated a lot on just trying to figure out, you know, what parts of this world the community likes about this place and trying to work that into the mural. And I mean, the murals that we designed, they are the communities. They wouldn't work anywhere else. They incorporate a lot of the aspects that the neighborhoods and the communities like about the place. They are part of it, you know?
So do community members come and say, or aldermen come and say, well, kind of like this, would you integrate this, or are they a big part of the process?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't know that much about that. I think that's more...
There's a lot of behind the scenes that sort of happens with making, you know, we'll come up with a concept. You're like, okay, this is the direction we're heading. What do you guys think? And they'll be like, okay, we really like the train, we really like the buildings, not sure about this, we really want to incorporate a bicycle. Okay, back to the drawing board. Now let's do it again. We really need a bicycle in here now. Where's it going to go? You know, stuff like that. So, but originally when we first started kind of brainstorming the ideas, it really became about thinking about design, you know, itself as an element, period. So, you know, we even stared at a bicycle and drew bicycle parts, and it's like, can we maybe incorporate, you know, different shapes that are inside of this thing on the wall that would be a little bit more abstract? But we just, you know, it's a lot of brainstorming. Yeah, so we ended up with 2 designs. You know, for the Thorndale piece, we ended up with 2 designs.
Let's talk about that.
And do you want to talk about that a little bit? Or?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well.
What's the overall design like, and that people if they go to Thorndale's, the Thorndale Red Line stuff?
Thorndale Red Line stuff. And you guys do have a photo actually that I'm sure we'll be showing in a little bit.
Yeah, we sure will.
Of the design.
Yeah,
Tell us about
the
that.
finalized design for the Thorndale is actually my design, and you know, I freaked out.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm still freaking out. I had to run up and down the hallway screaming when I found out.
Literally,
she could attest to
literally.
this. I mean, I'm still really excited about it. It's incredibly
It'll
exciting.
be there for perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and well, the Thorndale mural, like I said, it really is Thorndale's. For one thing, it has Thorndale on it, but it also has like, you know, parts of the community that are really just, you know, parts of Thorndale itself.
Like what, for example, please?
Well, it's located in an area where people park their bikes, and there's a lot of, you know, bikes worked into there because the community, they work a lot with just biking different places and doing bike stuff. And it's also, you know, by a train, and there's a train worked into there that goes across the whole thing. You've got train tracks for just across the entire mural, and it's just, and
that's the element that carries.
yeah, and it has, you know, bits of nature in it because they've got like nice and beautiful parks everywhere, and you've just got skyline and buildings and stuff because you've got skylines and buildings going on there, and just, you know, it's Thorndale's mural.
Yeah.
And what about the colors? How do you go about choosing the colors? You just keep the colors the same as you to represent what you're trying to show there, or do you make them wild and fantastical?
Well, part of the color choosing process is a bit limited because we have to look at our materials, but I do like to go crazy with my colors in my artwork, and at least with the Thorndale mural, I try to work in a bunch of different colors in different areas. If you actually look at it for the sky, in the background, it changes from the start to the finish, where like at the start it's this nice little coral blue, and then in the middle it gets more orangey purpley, and then at the end it's like indigo, and it's all nice and pretty.
Wow, that's awesome. And there's also another big mural project you worked on, right? You've, I think, finished last year, is it? The Edgebrook?
Yeah, so we last summer worked at the Edgebrook underpass. It's right at like Hiawatha and Central, and this is actually a tiered project. So we started last year, we finished the underpass, and Megan was on that project with us as well. Serious alumni here. And so we worked on the first section of that, which was a really, really great project. We had a really great time, and the outcome is really beautiful. This summer we'll be working on phase 2, and then next year we'll be working on phase 3. So, you know, on these projects, being that we are working with After School Matters, we have about 30 teens at each location when we're working with After School Matters. So we are actually, you know, constantly looking for students to come and work with us all the time, and we have tons of projects that people can help us with. One is actually happening this summer, so we have open enrollment right now, but we basically have open enrollment all the time. So,
do you need mentors or adults to help you with that?
You know, we always take volunteers. On all the sites, we have volunteer days as well, where the community comes out and actually gets to put their hands on the mural, which again is really important to us. You know, this is our mural, as in the entire community that we're in. You know, always, every single time. So that's something we're very, very serious about.
Awesome. Were you also part of Thorndale?
Thorndale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like that process?
I like the process because, like, the mural, it really fits in with the neighborhood. I feel like people who walk by the train station will look at the mural and say, oh, yeah, that's the everyday life, you know. It's beautiful to see that we get to see how we impersonate other people to come and look at the mural. You know, like people walk by, they're gonna like our work, you know, because it's not only from our idea, but it's like, you know, it's the community. The community will love it.
Yeah, I've had people from the community come in and talk with me about not even knowing that I was one of the artists for the thing, and just, you know, talk for a while about how they were excited that it was going up and how they were really impressed with the artist, and it's the best feeling in the world, you know, to have the community be involved.
That's really, really awesome. Now, what I want to do now is, you brought in some images for us to look at as well. Let's look at some of those and talk about that and how the process of working on these murals actually works.
Beautiful.
So, yes, take us through this, Anna, please.
Sure. So we're starting out here. This is a project that we did over at Hedges Elementary. So it's actually, I worked with a group of about 15 young 8th graders. And these teens worked on these very large circular patterns. They were all, again, designed by the students. And
all of it, wow.
Yeah, all of them were designed and installed by the students. And it really kind of, all the pieces talk about their community. This particular school is in Back of the Arts, and it's so they go through a lot of things, you know. I mean, all neighborhoods have their own stories.
Right.
So it's really quite inspiring.
And what's the material underneath? Is that like a cement or something?
Yeah, it's actually called a weedy board, and we don't always use the boards, but these were installed extremely high on the wall, so we wanted to have a material where the students could actually work on the pieces, and then we could install them later, since, you know, we can't have 8th graders on scissor lifts.
This is an interesting piece here. That
yeah, the sugar skulls. So yeah, again, all of them were picked by the students to kind of help beautify and celebrate what's happening in the culture, and in the culture of their neighborhood. We also have the Edgebrook underpass, and in that particular piece we have, you know, this very nice long train that's running through the piece. You'll notice some of the sculptural elements, so sometimes there's, you know, we actually use cement to create 3D images that come out.
Yeah, they pop out. Yeah, I did see that in looking at
Yeah,
some
and
of
those
your
are
images.
super fun. You worked on some of those sculptures, didn't you, Megan?
I don't think I helped with the actual sculpting process, but I saw it happening.
Saw it
so there's
happening.
that.
So everyone, you know, and especially with really big walls, will have, you know, certain sections that students work on and they're responsible for. So that was a really great project that we did with the neighborhood connection. And like I said,
and here they are with the finished one here in this picture,
yes.
right?
Here they are with the finished piece. Well, kind of finished. It still needs to get installed. Yeah. And then, you know, with the Thorndale piece, it's something that we're actually currently still working on. So, you know, as far as today, but you can come by, you know, and if there are people that are interested in helping us out and putting some tiles on the wall, we're always looking for people to come out and do that. And, you know, one thing I wanted to add, too, as far as Green Star Movement is concerned, you know, we do this work all over the city. There's just not one neighborhood that we concentrate in. Right. And one of our missions as a nonprofit and as an organization is to really break down the barriers between neighborhoods and allow experiences throughout Chicago and beyond that everybody can share. So a student from the south side and a student from the north side and a student from the west side can all get together and talk about this really awesome defining experience that not only, you know, help them be part of doing something really awesome through the community, but also obviously hopefully help them in figuring out what path they want to take in their life, you know?
That's awesome. And we have another artist here with us now who is replacing DAMIAN Sandoval. Please tell us about the projects or the project you worked on through Green Star Movement.
I mean, right now we're doing the mural in Thorndale, the one that recently.
That's the one you're involved with. Is that how you got hooked into this organization?
Well, yeah, it's called. They went to my school. I was on lunch eating, and then it's called.
And they just came by with the materials and said, "Join us."
Yeah, they were like announcing. I think it was you. I forgot.
It might have been me.
And and then they were just announcing it through the microphone, and I was like, "Oh, that seems cool." I mean, you know, I like art. Like doing like mostly like pen art, but this is like, I thought it was gonna be like painting, but it was actually a mural. So I was shocked. I was like, oh, I never done this. I never even heard about it. So I was just, I mean, it was fun. Like when we first started, we were designing just random things, and then as soon as like we started getting the real big idea, that's when we started designing our own mural. And I like that part because it let me like expand on whatever I wanted to do.
He had so many cool ideas. Like, honestly, I want to get some of those up on a wall somewhere.
Tell us about some of those ideas, but also how how it is to collaborate with other people on this work.
I mean, it was interesting because I never really collaborated with like other people to get something down on paper, but this was like different. I was like, but it helped though, because it motivated you to actually like do something like like, you know, better, or even like collaborate with their art to yours.
Because a lot of times when we think of art, or we think of a art piece, it seems very individual, right? It's something I worked on, something I drew, I painted, but this was different. Were there, how did you resolve small conflicts or questions like, I don't like that, or how do you go through that process? Because it is part of the creative process.
Well, we just all got, you know, like in a circle, started talking like, you know, well, we want this on the mural, so we just all design our own type of version of it, and then, well, you know, whoever's like idea worked the most, and we incorporated that into the mural.
Yeah, we definitely have to listen to everybody when it comes to collaborating.
Okay.
That's kind of the definition of collaborating. But I mean, you know, we gotta pull everybody together and see what works. And you know, there was a huge consensus on which mural we wanted to do, so we did that, and everyone kind of enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, we are so lucky. I mean, Green Star is so lucky to run across these amazingly talented young people who don't always have the outlet or the voice to talk about or to express artistically the things that are inside of them. And, you know, what I witness a lot when I'm in these design sessions is that, you know, and everyone has very different social skills and you know, approaches, and so in these groups, you know, it'll start out, there's definitely the leaders, and then there's the ones that just don't feel as comfortable speaking up, but through the process, through that 10 weeks, it really seems like everyone just comes to this really equal level playing field, because it really,
so it's transformational.
It's transformational in my opinion. But I also feel like it's you can tell in the designs how well they're working together. And that's something that you guys talked about, is like the more, you know, the more fluid everyone's communication was, the better the outcome was. And so there was just no option but to communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us about, you said the collaboration, and your design was chosen. How did that group say, okay, this is what we really want?
Well, we voted. I mean, by the end of it, we all had our own design set up, and we kind of laid them all out and be like, okay, these are our choices, everybody. And we all voted on which ones we liked the most. And then, you know, the two finalists got put up in the community, was like, I like this one. And, you know, it went from there.
Yeah, we had so we put a bunch of billboards up, and it was on the community forum and stuff like that. And over 800 people voted from the community for the mural. So there's tons of people super excited to see this finished and up, and you know, they had a part in deciding what was going to go up.
That's really awesome. And I'm curious as to, you say you want to go to every part of the city, and that's really awesome to hear, because I think a lot of times only certain parts of the city get certain services or see certain types of art, and it's so crucial that we really, I think, speak to that creative spirit in every person, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, art should be something for absolutely everyone, and we are giving the chance to go up and put up these art installations for the whole world to see. I mean, it's not like, you know, any special group is seeing. It's for everybody, you know? It's art for everyone, and that's why I think public art's really cool.
Are there any plans to take Green Star out of Chicago or to projects beyond our city limits and suburbs?
Yeah, I mean, our end goal is really big.
Conquer the world?
It's global, but for now, you know, there's tons of work that needs to get done in Chicago. We're very dedicated and very, very committed to doing that, and we're working with a lot of really great organizations. We partner up with a lot of organizations to kind of make even a bigger impact. We're in Palatine. We're doing a piece in Palatine right now over at Jane Addams Elementary, which is really great. So that's outside of Chicago limits. And yeah, I mean, we, again, it's, you know, our goal is to create equal experience and opportunity everywhere.
And if you were to go international in the next few years, where would be the first place you would go?
Where would we start?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really tough question. You know, right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, you know, places that have been really hit heavily by politics and by other places, you know, by really social things.
Social people.
Yeah, and then, but then also like South America would be great, and I mean, really anywhere. Great, you know, both myself and Camille are from Eastern Europe, so I think, I know that I'd love to go there and do a piece there as well, so.
Wow, that's really awesome. One final question, because we are running out of time. Yeah, darn. We could have a whole hour. Sum up your experience in a short phrase, please. The experience you've had through Green Star. Let's start with you, Damien, please.
Put me on the spot, right?
You can do it. I believe in you.
I mean, like,
A brief phrase, or one word.
it was interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Inspiring.
Inspiring. And for you, Anna?
Inspiring is a good one. I think that's one I would use. But for me, you know, art for myself, and I think for everyone that's works with Green Star, has been a very therapeutic, very important part of our lives. And to be able to work with other young people that could maybe also see art that way and see communal impact that way, kind of stepping outside of ourselves, is extremely inspiring and extremely motivating.
That was more than a word or phrase, but that's awesome.
Sorry.
That's great. No, it's okay.
Just pretend.
Just pretend. Yeah.
That's so awesome, and so great to hear from all of you. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
And to you, our audience, thank you for joining us. Community Forum is a community service of CAN TV. If your nonprofit organization would like to work with CAN TV, call 312-738-1400 and ask for nonprofit services. Tune into Community Forum for local issues and concerns every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on CAN TV 21. I'm Juan Carlos Hernandez. Thank you for joining us.